a shot here. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. I've been playing that hero a lot, probably too much to be fair, but the hero is incredibly strong now. There's two reasons why he's really strong. First of all, he's kind of got a nice quality of life change with his uproot. So not only does it do a little bit more damage because I think it puts the attack damage onto it, but also obviously the uproot effect. The last auto attack, you don't have to throw it anymore. So normally, the last thing you'd do with one charge left and uproot, you chuck it, but now you can just auto attack instead. And finally, the Willowmaker now actually does a lot more damage, not only base, but also it reduces the total strength by 35% now. So his burst potential is back, and his laning phase is even better. So yeah, the hero is really, really strong, and particularly against heroes where they need that kind of instant burst. Kind of like if you're going against an enemy carry, Deadwood is the perfect person to do that. And they're playing against Dr. Repulsor, and we saw they were close to bursting him down, but they just didn't have the right amount of burst. But now with Deadwood plus the Dark Lady, I think Nelson are definitely adequately prepared for what Singh are going to throw at them.
Yeah, no, and even a face silence on top of that from Parasite, so they have ways to lock down this Dr. Repulsor. And that's another great thing about Deadwood too. You may say, well, Nullstone kind of hurts him, but not really, because with that Oak Bolt, he just chooses the chuck on it. It will remove the Nullstone, then he can ulti right after. So, even if Doctor does get that Nullstone,
he can taint Soul from far away as well, which is quite useful.
That too. Yep. They got some good lockdown here once again. So. That's going to be exciting to see. And yeah, Deadwood, also the strength reduction now even raised to 35% on the strength reduction that it applies from his Willowmaker, as I call it, Falcon Punch. God, it's been a long time, man. Is this the first? Oh, we have seen Deadwood a couple times, apparently. Wow.
But we haven't casted, I'm pretty sure.
No, we definitely haven't casted it. But, I'm honestly even surprised he was picked up even a couple times. But
he's awesome, man, trust me. Cycle 7, yeah. So these were the games today.
Oh, you already have those stats? Jesus.
But this is Quincy, man. He's on it. He's on the ball.
Guess so. Doing work.
Awesome. One thing that honestly was a little bit of a worry to me in Game 1 is it's slowly presenting itself in Game 2 as well. A lot of farm, put simply. Deadwood, Dark Lady obviously need a lot of farm from lanes, but Parasite, although he doesn't need quote-unquote need a lot of farm to be useful, he kind of soaks up a lot of farm because he's always farming the jungle, which means there's less room for other people on his team to farm their own jungle because he's going to be farming it. And Sync, they haven't gone kind of that kind of greedy build either. They've gone and got Dr. Repulsor that isn't as hard carry as say like a Dark Lady. Glacier is obviously a strong support without any kind of farm. We mentioned that in the tree game as well, and Cthulhu obviously sort of similar fact as well. So if Sync do want to maybe put pressure again early like they did last time, oh dear, like with this Martyr pick for example, Nullstone might be in trouble.
I just got goosebumps all over because I'm excited for this one here. Out of the three changes, the three reworks really that were really brought, really the big two are, of course, Martyr and Monarch. And then, you throw Midas in there as well. You definitely got some good changes all around. So, the Sense kind of rework, but, Martyrs are just so appealing to me. I've always loved this hero, honestly, from the very beginning. So, in a sense, it's kind of, sad to see them. But, honestly, in the other sense, they just made it more powerful for what he still does. And he kind of does similar to what he did before, just even more now. So, and he's not easy, though. I will say that I actually played him a couple of times just out of curiosity to kind of get the feel for it. And it's you gotta use the Soul's Conviction here appropriately, and when to use the hand in hand aggressively and when not. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, if there is one game to pick up Martyr, it's definitely this game. We talked to just even before that was picked up how Deadwood has incredibly great burst and is able to, destroy Dr. Pulse before he's in the team fight. But if Slap plays well enough, he can completely nullify that with the Guardian Angel. 100% of the damage obviously taken is absorbed. Obviously, it will be dealt after it, but still, as long as you can stop the burst and the initial sort of jump, then that's all that can be needed. Obviously, he's got the hand in hand if he needs it as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to, in terms of just raw pickoffs and ganks, it's going to be between, obviously, I think it's going to be Trello Simeon on the Deadwood and obviously Slaps on the Martyr. So if, Slaps on the ball, he can completely nullify the Deadwood, which is the reason why they picked him up. So, and if you're trading kind of the effectiveness as a core compared to, say, a support, then obviously the support is going to take that 10 times out of 10, for example. And
wow.
Sandwave picked up here, though. So
Sync going a little different here, but again with the big patch, a long break, just trying some different stuff here.
I remember Flintstones used to play centre up all the time back when
Yeah.
he was obviously on Denial, I remember, and it worked out quite well for them. Actually, I remember. Did get some nerfs, but I think the hero is still great. Obviously, about the sort of global presence can fare quite nicely with the Doctor Repulsor, sort of send up ganks. Flintmeister won't be on Doctor Repulsor, man. That seems strange.
Yeah, that does seem strange, but really great synergy with a hero like Empath too. But yeah, they don't have the Empath, so he was banned here even. So, but not that necessarily makes it bad. But yeah, kind of interesting there. Bubbles being right collect again. He's still on the board. Just one of these heroes that.
Decent. Good against Doctor Repulsor, but also is one of those heroes that doesn't need a lot of farm. Like, just Portal Key's kind of all he needs. And so, yeah, they're going to pick him up. I like it, honestly. Can pressure the Doctor Repulsor with the silence, but also can stop any kind of shenanigans with the Martyr as well. Like, if the 3-second silence can be the difference between bursting the Doctor Repulsor down and stopping the Martyr from using the Guardian Angel. So, yep, I like the draft, but I still think there is perhaps a little bit too much greed on the side of Nullstone, but that's kind of the style they play, so that's fair enough to them. They do have, obviously, they're fighting against the Sandwraith as well, so at least they're not going to be pressured too much early on, so it looks like it's going to be a good game, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, not only being game 2 of the series, but again, we got Martyr, we got Deadwood, we got even a Sandwraith. I mean, what is? I knew we should have expected at least some diversity going into today, but I thought it was going to be a little bit slower of a start than things could. But holy crap! I mean, Sync here in what is game number 2 of the round of 4. They're busting out some big guns here again, especially the Martyr though. I'm really excited to see how this lap plays this Martyr here, and how it works out for them, and just where he plays it, to be frank. Because yeah, as far as the laning goes, I mean, so we end up with Mickey on that Doctor Pulsar, as you pointed out. So. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhat of a 2-1-2 setup here, possibly.
Perhaps, because the Martyr can somewhat actually run aggressive dual lane, not only just because of what the hero does, but particularly in this game as well, because Dark Lady isn't the greatest ganker, the greatest laner, because obviously he's kind of a hard carry, needs to be babysat most likely by Rapsy in this case, but he's one of those heroes that is quite sustainable in lane, because obviously the E, if he decides to spec that early on, but he's just quite tanky overall, so it's not the easiest hero to bring down. 606 HP already at level 1, so it's tanky as a strength hero, like Cthulhu. So yeah, but I don't think they're actually going to run with that though, because it's most likely going to be a defensive tri-lane from Nullstone, and if Parasite is aggressive, I still think they can kill Martyr regardless. So I think to play it on the safe side, they're probably going to do a defensive tri-lane of their own, perhaps try and do like a similar strategy to Tree, where they try and maybe get some early levels on Martyr, but we'll have to see. I don't think they can go aggressive tri-lane though. They might perhaps though do it with the Glacius Martyr or Cthulhu. Yeah, we'll have to see that. I'm not 100% sure, sorry.
Alright, see what Nullstone does do here, as far as that setup is for them is concerned. But yeah, excited also to see Cholo Samian on the Deadwood. Again, apparently he's played already twice today in other games, and this is now technically the 3rd game officially for On Tour Season 3. But again, when a hero gets changes like he did, and a statement is made by one of the strongest captains in Han history, it's understandable if it brings some attention. So, gonna actually get it for a first-hand view here now at Hancast, and what he's able to do with it. But yeah, I still don't think. So I was looking at the revert that he got as far as his ult, because again, it used to be more damage, then they nerfed it down, and that's what really tapered him off, especially the earlier on damage. But they now made it where it went from 225 to 250. So it's 25 increase at level 1, 25 increase at level 2, but then the level 3 stayed the same actually at 725 damage. But yeah, it's just as the early game gets a little bit more of a powerful presence, but then also the 5% more in the strength reduction. So yeah, enough to gain interest once again.
Yeah, and the W's is really nice as well though. That was probably perhaps the biggest buff actually, because of the increased damage to Uproot, and obviously the Uproot effects being on the last hit as well, so it's quite a nice change.
Yeah. Let's see what this pause is all about here. Actually, let's get an update on the other series while we're in this one. Reason Gaming up 1-0 over Willowkeeper. Yeah, they had a pretty significant lead in that first game, it looked like, so Ravener does not come through in the end. We got game 2 going on that series about 19 minutes in. It looks like it's a pretty even game in that game number 2 over there, so again, keeping an eye on it. Ooh, Monarch in that one. Fusin playing Monarch over there for Willowkeeper, so see how that turns out for them. But alas, back to this game. So it's good seeing that, though, honestly. I mean, big patch happens, and hell, we're already seeing all the big rework heroes now being used. A lot of just different heroes in general being used, such as this Deadwood, as we keep bringing up. Did Sandwraith get changes, actually? I'll double check that. No, he did not. So, no, he's just simply being picked up because they want a Sandwraith. Top lane, nothing's going to really happen here initially. Sync scouting out Conqueror, just in case.
I'm surprised they didn't actually try and block what you got's jungle. At least with the wards, they're similar to something they did in game 1, but maybe they're just actually afraid to go as 5 as level 1. They don't have the greatest level 1, but at the same time, I don't think Null do either, so I'm kind of surprised that they didn't even want to block maybe at least 1 or 2 hard camps from Parasite, I guess, just wanting to sort of secure the farm on themselves with the Ro4 that they've got. Oh no, Matari's coming over, so maybe he's going to actually place it, so scrap that.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I hope they do it at least once, because they should. If they're going jungle versus non-jungle, I think they should try and impact the jungle as much as possible. That's what they're going to do. So it's just like clockwork breaky. They do it.
It is. KZU running in right here, getting some starting position and going to kind of box them out.
It looks like they're going to run a 2-on-2 as well, and it makes sense if they can shut down the Parasite as they are. Then they can kind of run a 2-on-2, and actually Parasite's actually going to go in the enemy jungle. And if this is the case, actually, they can kind of abuse the weak laning stages from Dark Lady, actually. So I like the laning phase, how they're going to play it.
Yeah, Bubbles Parasite could also get a kill, definitely. I mean, yeah, you get Sandwraith, he's not, doesn't bring a stun to the table. Glacius does, of course, but we'll see if they can possibly set up something down here as a result of that, too. Here in the bottom lane, and then even for the middle especially too, you got Deadwood, of course, to set things up with the Parasite. So yeah, I like this aggressive Parasite play, definitely coming out here. It sets up some good kill potential for Nullstone. Yeah, as you said, Dark Lady can kind of handle her own in a sense. Taint Soul especially is missing some last hits right here, but gets the last one with a hatchet, so well played by Beaver Banger. But middle matchup, though. Deadwood versus this Dr. Repulsor. It seems like range versus melee, but again, Deadwood with that Oak Bolt, he hits really hard, especially with the hatchet. And if he gets that melee range.
Normally, probably what you'll see is that Deadwood will just try and go for last hits as much as possible, because that's kind of all he can really do. He can't really man up too much on the Dr. Repulsor, because Dr. Repulsor will just do so much damage with the magnetic contraption. And unless Parasite rotates over for ganks, Deadwood doesn't really have any kind of timing in this lane until he gets level 6, and if he can maybe hit it before Doctor gets level 5, that's when he can maybe go for a kill. Because otherwise, I do expect Mickey to win this lane, because it's just really a melee versus ranged lineup, and Dr. Repulsor does incredibly well against melees because of the magnetic contraption. So
yeah. So far, Mickey currently 8-3 against a Deadwood who's 5-2. So having that slight advantage earlier on. Bottom lane, Catman champion Parasite now. He's kind of sneaking around right here, checking out to see what Glacius is doing. Ooh, he snipes the last hit right there. Well played. And ooh, can't get the last one though. Glacius actually manages to get it instead. A little bit of back and forth there, however.
Deadwood's actually used all his regen as well, and he's nowhere near bottle. So this is actually kind of somewhat of a big deal. He should be able to get the next couple of CS, but still, I missed that one as well. That's quite a shame, actually. But he's getting a little bit dominated from the Dr. Repulsor, which is to be expected, to be fair. But I think, actually, I was watching him. I think he got a little bit too aggressive onto Mickey from the start, and as a result, sort of paid the price after top lane, though.
Rhapsody top lane, blow those kill, very possible. Puts that in a disco front. Is going to be enough damage. No, it's not. One auto attack. Yes, it will. Got it off. Martyr just doing enough right there. Retribution initially on top of the final couple of auto attacks. That was a long auto attack, man. Yes, 600 range. If that was a 550 range hero, that probably would not have killed, so.
No, yeah. Oh, middle lane.
Middle lane, Deadwood. He's in trouble. Illusions are here. But Parasite comes in. Now can the Illusions finish off Deadwood? No, that cannot.
Oh,
baby, look at the blocking from Parasite. I love it. And I think he should be fine, yeah. He actually manages to escape. Well played right there.
That's actually really an important kill, particularly that Deadwood got the last hit as well, because he was losing the lane quite heavily to Mickey. 18-4 compared to 10-2 from Deadwood. So yeah, it's a good game coming out from Parasite, and this is what happens obviously when the Parasite went into the enemy jungle, and Dr. Repulsor's very, very weak and easy to be ganked if he's not level 6. So just a good play from Nullstone as well. And at the same time, I think the biggest thing is that Beaverbang is actually getting quite a lot of farm in the top lane because of obviously the Taint Salt and the Hatchet. And I do like his build that he's gone rank 2 in Taint Salt. Normally people say, oh, you only need level 1, but rank 2 just secures you're going to get the last hits. And as long as he's getting farm and mid's doing well, I think that's it's fine for Nullstone Gaming.
Yeah, look at that right there. That is interesting to, again, after a big patch, it's understandable if things are a little bit different, but Sync playing 4 different heroes, player-hero combinations. And we talked about that in the earlier series with Willowkeeper. They were also playing a lot of different heroes or heroes that aren't played too often, at least, in the scene. So yeah, that's interesting there. You got, again, Mickey playing the Doctor. So they play Doctor plenty, but just who's on the heroes what makes it a little bit different here. But anyways, yeah, 1-1 hero kill game. Yeah, Deadwood getting the last hit. Now he's going to be gone on right here, taking some good damage, actually. If he hits level 6 in the process, that could have been big, but neither one does, and so they'll both kind of fall back from one another. Back to the top lane, though. Just confront again. Down, not enough, though. Parasite is here, however. They're going for the turn. Martyr gets his damage off just before, and he ends up falling, however, but a 2-for-1 exchange, and I think Sync will be happy with that.
Definitely. They just fought that gank 2v3. Actually, bottom lane, Bubbles is coming in.
Middle lane even. Deadwood and Doctor again going at it. There he goes. In the middle, yeah, so Bubbles assisting right there. Level 6 Deadwood, no Falcon Punch even needed. Saves the cooldown there, and it's a 100-second cooldown if he was to use it, so.
It's really good that he saved it as well, because I think he can get a solo kill on Dr. Repulsor now as well. Like, he's obviously had the Parasite and Bubbles help. Actually, Samurai, no, Deadwood, no! Why would you farm that with such little HP? That really must have slipped his mind.
Yeah,
but,
I was going to say, I think that's one of those cases of he just simply forgot.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that.
But yeah, going back to the top lane though, like this Martyr Cthulhu lane is actually ridiculous though. Like neither of them can die, like because they're both so tanky. And like they actually were fighting a 2v3 gank, and then they still actually got 2-for-1, I think. So. Yeah. And they killed the Beaverbang, which is obviously the most important thing. So yeah, this Martyr man is actually quite frustrating because you just simply can't kill him, and he can't kill his ally because obviously the Soul's Conviction will come out. So yeah. 2 fat tanks.
Well, and, the wings are just ridiculous. Even at level 2, 70% damage reduction. Again, sure, it applies after the 5 seconds, but you have that 5-second window where they're not doing enough damage to kill you. And yeah, you pointed out, Cthulhu, especially in itself, already inherently a tanky hero, so it's understandable that's a little bit difficult to deal with here at this top side. Doctor, okay, he's farming up the jungle a little bit. Yeah, I was gonna say though, it's that threat knowing that Deadwood is level 7, well 7 now even. So again, he has the ultimate, has what is also a level 4 uproot here, Rotten Grasp, I should say, and if he catches him in a Rotten Grasp, that's probably a dead Doctor Repulsor.
That's why Mickey's actually going to sort of somewhat farming the jungle and only really going out. Like he was farming the hard camp right there, and he's going to have to play a little bit passive because if he does get hit by an uproot and an ulti, he's going to die most likely. He's only got 720 HP, and Deadwood is level 7, so he's got max uproot. Bottom lane though.
That's ridiculous. I say it's really ridiculous because Flensmeister, he literally turned around. He used it as his curse, and he turned around as if he wasn't going to go in. And then he realized that Bubbles was kind of just standing there almost, not really falling back, and he didn't have take cover, so he's like, screw this, I'm going to go. And, well, we saw the end result. There's nothing Bubbles can do. He already shell-surfed. It was on cooldown, so great man up there by Flensmeister. Knowing what was ahead of him, so right-clicks him down to death, basically. And satisfying kill, indeed. And, in fact, he has this Mirage back up as well. You saw earlier, he basically got a free kill because Deadwood unfortunately decided to go in a spot with very little life that gave him the easy opening for it. So need to be careful about that. But yeah, this lead for Sync Esports already, 2,900 gold lead, 2,200 experience lead. Pretty good for them. So I think Cholo Simon on this Deadwood, you talk about a snowball hero in general, Deadwood's up there as one of them. That's what he truly is. He is a snowball potential hero, so you want him to get that good start, and right now it's decent. He has 300 gold per minute, so happy with that, I'm sure at least.
Yeah.
He's that Portkey though.
I'm wondering if Beaverbang is actually going to go Rune Cleaver this game or not. I think if there is one kind of hard carry, sort of similar to like Dark Lady, you can maybe get away with it because like you can run him as a somewhat aggressive kind of hero, like because of the Dark Blades and the charging strikes. You somewhat can get away with not going it, but like for heroes like Mageman, I think you have to go Rune Cleaver because otherwise the hero, the whole ethos of the hero isn't very kind of properly utilised if you don't go it. Like you have to farm as Mageman, but for Dark Lady you might be able to get away with it. And seeing as he's not having the best of starts, he might just kind of maybe go into something like an Energizer into Dawnbringer. So it has somewhat of farming capabilities, obviously with like the Dawnbringer, but it allows him to get active as well because he's going like a bit more tanky with the Energizer. We'll have to sort of see. The reason why Rune Cleaver is so good is obviously because it actually is utilised by the charging strikes as well, which makes him farm so ridiculously fast. But if he can't farm the Rune Cleaver because he's getting pressured, then it might be best just to go for the Energizer into Dawnbringer. But we'll have to see what kind of style BB wants to go. I think he normally does go for the Rune Cleaver regardless, but we'll have to see.
Well, Drent's reconnected right there. We'll see. Just shortly going to resume here. For the time being, keeping an eye on the other series once again. Yeah, it seems like it's pretty close. Tree versus Reason. Reason up 1-0 in that series. That's about the half-hour mark now. Yeah, still a good back and forth there going on. So there is Swiftblade on Reason Gaming as well, worth noting. And again, he got some nerfs as you were talking about, but still pretty strong hero. There's somebody else apparently AFK. Yeah, no Falcon Punch yet though. Now 8 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I think with that as well, I think you almost have to hit the Rotten Grasp first, I believe, for it to get a kill onto the Dr. Repulsor, which isn't the easiest to happen. But if he's got a Skeleton King with him, it should be quite easy to hit, I guess. But Mickey's, he's not going to be able to get hit by Rotten Grasp unless you get it perfectly. Oh, we come from Sandwraith. They're going to try and dive this Bubbles bottom lane.
Yeah,
they're going to get him.
Just no chance for Fuzzy Sloth right there. If he uses Shell Surf, I mean, he's very vulnerable, as we've seen already before.
Yep.
And once again, it backfires onto him. So I don't know what he used Shell Surf there for initially, whether it's to farm or maybe to initially try to get away. But it's he's in a difficult spot, clearly. So good catch by them. What's Mickey doing here? Mickey's kind of roaming around. Now, this is kind of an awkward because you got a Skeleton King Parasite also here. They have no clue. All of a sudden, Dr. Pulsar comes out. Rhapsody in trouble. The Rotten Grasp will hit Cthulhu Fun. He's coming in for the Falcon Punch. He's trying to get Doctor. No! Doctor having a ludicrous speed away. He goes back in. The Obliterate doing plenty of damage as well. And Parasite, can he take over Creep? No, he cannot. He ends up getting picked off at the last second. Deadwood, in the meantime, is on the run. And actually will just continue to run and be fine. So 2-for-0 exchange, though. For Sync Esports right there. And great teamwork, great support coming out by them in the process. Dark Lady is able to farm the top lane in the meantime.
That is true. She's got on the Ghost March, which I think is definitely, like, she could not have just rushed Rune Cleaver if that's what she still decides to go, because that would have been super greedy and would have been punished easily by Sync. But you're seeing, like, the issue, though, with the Deadwood. Like, he had the sort of timing in the lane where he gets maybe level 6 before Dr. Pulse hits level 6, but he just wasn't able to really utilise the Deadwood Punch, and like Nikkei knows exactly what's coming, so he's not going to be able to be put into a position to get hit by the Deadwood Punch unless the Rotten Grasp is hit, or unless he has a Portal Key, and neither of those things really going for him, so he kind of just didn't use his ulti at all, and when you don't use ultis at all in any kind of these small skirmishes, they're not going to go your way, so and just obviously good TP rotation as well, so
yeah.
Sync coming out very, very far ahead.
Double damage room potted up on Deadwood, so he definitely has some really good kill potential. Once again, bottom lane Bubbles, he's going to be collapsed on. And they didn't even need to wait for a Shell Surf, although it was on cooldown. That didn't matter, though. He's just gone on, and as soon as Ludicrous Speed in from Dr. Pulsar came in, it's no chance for him to get away. So, yeah, Fuzzy Sloth does third death right now on that Bubbles. And just continues to have a very, very difficult time. Top lane, Cthulhu runs into a little bit of trouble. Here comes Martyr. Can he get the wings up in time? It's not even necessary, man. Just look how take he is without them. He pops the Retribution coming out. The wings are applied. And yeah, they just do not have nearly enough damage coming out. Martyr, hand in hand even coming out. A little bit of a heal as a result. And now Deadwood, he doesn't have mana for Falcon Punch. He comes in. He's trying to bottle charge. He has it now. Can he use it on the right target? He goes in. There's a Falcon Punch onto Glacier in the background. But look at Cthulhu Font and Samurai still doing plenty. And now the chase is on once again. Parasite and Bubbles both on the run. Bubbles does have a Shell Surf. Parasite, he goes in the catapult, and there's the Shell Surf away. To be fine by Dr. Repulsor with the cutoff. Yep, Dr. Lady going to be picked off. And Bubbles, he's also probably going to fall, as he will. Double tap for Mickey on the Dr. Repulsor. It just kept on happening, and as you stated, it really, it's just they do not have the damage. at
Yeah,
this
it's
point.
just Dark Lady doesn't do anything really without having any kind of items. Obviously, that's just been the nature of a hard carry. But even like Repsy or Parasite, like they're not really damaging supports. Like you compare to something like a Pyromancer with a Repsy, they probably would have got a kill quicker. And Parasite only has singular burst, but like the burst isn't even that much. 260 from Leech, and then obviously only level 1 face hug. It's only 200. That's like 460 damage, and like for a Cthulhu who has like 1500 HP, that's not even half his HP. So, and that's not even like without any kind of support from Marta as well. So they cannot take these early engagements because they're just going to get completely destroyed by Sync, as you just saw.
Yeah. Doctor has a sack stone now as well, and again, it's a powerful item against a hero like Deadwood. He's all about the physical, of course. Yes, that ultimate is physical, obviously, so understandable pickup coming out from him. You just look at the Sand Wraith, exactly. He's got the Energizer, Quick Blade now picked up, and he's starting to get extra scary. So yeah, Dark Lady has a long ways to go still before being any really decent impact for her team. And if that doesn't, they can't calm things down here shortly, then Sync could be pulling away here on what is game number 2, and thus that's the result of this series. Now they're going to drive for something at the top lane. Bubbles, he has a kelp field. He hasn't used it just yet. There we go. It comes out through the front. He was not caught, though. He's in the background. He misses the trample, actually. Glacial Downpour coming out. Doing some good return damage. Oh, Obliterate on top. And the Hellborn team is actually falling apart right here. They got the one going to Martyr, but they're the ones taking more damage in the end. Deadwood trying to skirt on out of there. He's going through the trees. He is going to be spotted by Dr. Repulsor, however. Well, they have the damage to actually finish him off. Trample's ready. There's the trample. One more auto attack to secure the kill. So, I mean, despite even their initiation coming out from Nullstone, Sync
no
once
damage,
again, yeah, no damage, and then Sync just able to respond to it.
Yeah,
Sarah's even had Mirage he didn't even use.
Yeah, he didn't even feel the necessary to jump in. He just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on farming bottom, maybe pressure the 2-1 tower, because like he doesn't even need to join these team fights because like heroes like Cthulhu and Dr. Repulsor and Glaciers, they're just offering so much more damage and team fight presence than Nullstone. Like again, they're trying to fight when they just don't have the means to do so. Like Dark Lady is going to try and go for the Rune Cleaver, but without it, like she hits like for nothing practically, and that's all she does, auto attack in these team fights. And Repsy only really has the staccato for damage, and that's not really damage kind of thing. Like, and Bubbles is a little bit underfarmed as well, and a little bit underleveled. So, yeah, again, just trying to take team fights when they just don't have the means to. But at the same time, Sync are just sort of pushing it. So if you don't take the team fight, then they're going to take other objectives because of it. So
Exactly, it's just that tough spot to be in, definitely for Nullstone Gaming, and it just goes back to just how the game started. And I mean, I think Deadwood, again, he had the early levels. He actually got the kill earlier on. As bottom lane, Flensmeister, again, though, picks him off. But yeah, he died shortly after the Sand Wraith, and that kind of just was a difference maker there. If Deadwood was able to stay alive, perhaps, you see right here, he's actually going to pick off Glacius, but if he was able to get that momentum going, then by all means, it could have been a different game completely, but could not really get it going. I mean, even so, he's still 4-3-1, not too bad, but here we go with Sand Wraith now. Yeah, the illusion doing enough damage to finish off Drents, the real one in the background, and now they're just going to push this top tower most likely. That still is nearby. Parasite comes in actually on a Martyr. Martyr willing to falling. Opens up with that Lex Talionis, but they're actually going to vote to concede. Nullstone knows that it's just too much firepower. And not much they can do to stand strong in this game. So a little bit of a skirmish at the end here. But it's definitely going to be a concede here, I'm guessing. The fake CC is real. Look at that. They make them throw. All right, JK. As they throw themselves into it. All right, are they actually going to concede now? Are they not going to concede? This is
this is pretty open. Oh, insanely
going at it. Bubbles and Glacius. Oh, now he's in a tough spot. That was a Legion vote. Wait, what?
I think they just trolled him.
This is so good. I'm so confused. No, that was a Hellborn vote, wasn't it?
No, that was Legion.
Thing. I can't.
Actually, was Legion.
Legion vote to concede. No, that was after though. Yeah. Hellborn actually voted to concede initially.
Oh, Hellborn did.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say there's no way.
They were like, oh yeah, bye.
Yeah, there's no way that they didn't actually vote to concede. Okay. I'm so confused what just happened. But anyways, the game actually ended, and that's what matters. So Sync does take it over Millstone Gaming. So anticlimactic finish, but in the end, congrats to Sync Esports, and that means they're going to the winner bracket finals yet again. It's familiar territory to them, as they've been there